What's up with a season of gratitude going into Thanksgiving next week? I almost went into What's Up Working Wednesday.
Hey, gratitude is what's working.
Gratitude is always working. But we wanted to talk about, going into Thanksgiving next week, really the importance of gratitude, why we use it daily, how it helps us kind of change our perspective on the day, really shifts the lens. And, I think there's so much that we do have to be grateful for. And sometimes we get into those perspectives of like, how do we pull ourselves out of that,
I know.
And we kind of look around with that gray lens on.
It's, in the month of gratitude, we are grateful for all of our customers, all that's going right. There is more than going right with us than wrong with us today because we're above ground. We made the wake up list and we have breath in our lungs and floor under our feet. And it's a good day in that regard. But you're right, man. I mean, how many times do I catch myself looking at what I don't have, or the near miss, or the little bug on the windshield when everything else is clear and there's so much going right for us? I think that one just simple mind shift is to identify what is right about your life in this moment. We live in the present tense. The breath is in the present tense, but the mind wants me out in the future or in the past, in regret or in fear. But if we can get grateful about what we have going right and what's going right in the right direction for us, then we can invite more of that into our life just by acknowledging it.
Right.
That's the power of gratitude.
When I think, what Tony Robbins would say, where your energy flows, your focus goes.
Right.
And when you focus on being grateful and having those kind of perspectives, I mean, it really shifts that lens. Like we were talking, I think you were saying yesterday, you saw a video of a girl with like no legs, and she was like, okay, well, what can I be grateful for? I don't have to shave my legs anymore. I don't have and she started naming
more calf raises.
Yeah, she started naming all these things that she didn't have to do, and that is a gnarly situation to be in. That is one of the most extreme cases.
Extreme.
And then she goes into changing her perspective of I can't change the situation. This is the situation that was dealt to me. So how can I focus on making this the best situation I can?
Yeah.
Getting grateful about what you can do about it.
I mean, if we look at San Diego, where we happen to be and what we happen to do and where we happen to live, we've kind of won the lottery, right? We're in the top 1% of the top 1%. There's no bullets flying when we walk outside the office building. There's clean running water.
Yeah.
There's, food on tap. There's gas in our cars. There's food in the fridge. There's a roof over our heads with this rain that we've been having. So starting from that foundational point, you create a momentum.
Yeah.
You create hey, things are kind of going my way. Things are good. And then, you open yourself to a frequency where the universe can say more of that.
More of that.
But when I look at what I don't have, I get into scarcity, which is kind of the opposite of abundance. And it's complaining or blame. The tendency is to blame others instead of owning.
Being the victim of everything.
Yeah. And when I get into gratitude, I can be the author of my life instead of the victim of the story, right? So it allows us to shift the story in our head of let's start with what's going right. And then we can have more of that. Or if I look at and start scrolling and look at the Porsche I don't have and the dress I don't have and the red bottoms I don't have and the place I'm not visiting in the islands, and then all of a sudden my life is shit.
Why does he go to all the girls things? He names all the girls things.
Is that girl thing?
Unless you really want a pair of Christian Louboutins or something.
I do car, the vacation.
I'll go with car and vacation.
It's highly identifiable. Okay, it's highly identifiable. Okay, the Fiore joggers I don't have. Okay, or whatever it is.
I find that one hard to believe.
Why are you calling me on my
I'm sorry. This is just friendly banter here,
But sweat before screen is a good thing. Why? Because I'm not in comparison right out the gate.
Yeah, well, I definitely think about, those things where you see people on vacations or doing these things, and we're sitting here and we're like, cool, we're in the office today. Must be nice. Even that little shift of those kinds of things that puts you in that negative spiral and that negative cycle. I think of even in the elevator, I said, I have to go do something. And Katie over here is like, you get to go do that. And I kind of looked at her and I was like, no, I have to go do that. But it's true. We do get to go do things. We get to get in our cars and go drive. We get to go home with a roof over our head and get to go on a run, and we get to go to the gym. Those things that we're able to. So when we change that perspective, we have clients that love us. We might have gotten fired yesterday, and that's that bug on the windshield, and we're like, man, how did we lose that? Where did we mess up? But then we forget about the hundreds of clients that love us, that would go over railroad tracks for us, that write us in on the buyer's contracts. Like, we have to remember we have so much more positive than we do, like you said earlier, negative in our lives.
We have a lot to be grateful for. And look, if there's no arrival,
right.
and we go into extremes, like, and then we start beating ourselves up for not being grateful enough. But look, it's back and forth. It's like 51% of the time, over 49% of the time is a huge win.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you're human. We look around, we're pack animals. We look to compare with other people to see if we're doing it right. That's a natural, instinctive thing. But what you can do is remind yourself, look, here's the things that are good in my life, and build from there. It gives you a foundational momentum to bring more into your life.
Yeah. Well, and I think another kind of extreme example of it, but it just really sets a perspective, is I went to church last weekend, and the pastor that was there just lost his wife, I think 6 months ago, maybe, not even, to cancer. And they have like 4 kids. And he had to get up there in front of maybe 1,500 people and talk about gratitude and talk about how thankful he is for his family and his support system. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm about to start bawling, because I'm like, I know this guy just lost his wife, his partner, the person that helped him raise these 4 children. And he has to get up here in front of people and talk about gratitude. And the perspective he had was so strong. And so you could tell that he really has been focusing on gratitude, because he's like, I can't let my kids down. I'm grateful I still have my 4 children. I'm grateful I had a partner that was there that showed me what an amazing wife is supposed to be like and how to raise our children together. And he went into this whole thing, and I'm like, shit, like, wow, that's like,
that's an iron, that's a mindset. That's a strong mindset.
Yeah. And I was like, that's got to be one of the toughest situations to go through. And this guy is up here talking about how gratitude helped him get through one of the darkest chapters. And he's still going through it. He was talking about how just the weekend before, he was at a retreat for widowers that have lost their wives, that have kids. And he's trying to find common ground with all these other men, because he's like, kind of feels like an island, Yeah. He's like, I'm doing this by myself.
And way to go get help. Way to talk about it. Way to raise your hand and say, ouch, I hurt.
Saying how like grateful he was that he went to this and found these other men that are going through these similar situations with him. And now he feels a bond. And I'm like, thinking like, man, the shit I complain about that I like am not
princess
grateful
problems.
for.
We got princess problems. Yeah, for
so
sure.
It's just those perspective shifts of those things. Like, yeah, those are pretty extreme cases, but think about it. Like, we have to use gratitude to pull us out of those, because we have to think about what do we have to continue to live for in those kind of situations. I
love that. And that hit me right between the eyes. I mean, it makes me so grateful for my wife and home with 4 kids.
Yeah.
But so gratitude is a strategy. When you're melting and you're spinning and you're turning into a puddle over whatever it is, spilt milk, whatever spilt milk du jour, then we have a strategy. We can get into what's right. We can start focusing on what's good.
Right.
Where are the green lights on my path? What is going right? And it's like the tendency is to run from pain and seek pleasure. Okay. But when things get this uncomfortable and get painful, you can just sit in it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to run. You could just get curious about it and see what it's hitting in you, and then remind yourself that on the other side of that, there's still good. The sun's still coming up tomorrow. There's still a lot of awesome things in your life, and you don't have to spiral about the one little thing that is not going your way, which may or may not be a benefit. Because how many times is something you really, really wanted didn't happen?
Oh, yeah.
And it was the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, whew. I'm glad that prayer didn't get answered. I mean, Garth Brooks said, I sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Boom.
Well, I was thinking of something. It's funny you talk about that, because I was listening to Tony Robbins this morning, and he was saying, how many of us love surprises? And everybody is like, yeah, we love surprises. And he's like, no, you don't. You only love the surprises you want, or the surprises that are good. Yeah. But the surprises that we don't want in our life, what do those come up as? Problems, challenges. Why does this happen?
Surprise, your car won't start. Yeah, so surprise, your spouse is leaving you.
And so that's where that gratitude shift comes in, of like, we have to remember, like, surprises may not always be great. They may always not be the best thing, but there's always a lesson to be learned in those situations. And that's where we can get grateful of, like, universe, God, whatever is up there, there's the plan. And if you don't learn that lesson in that, it's going to keep showing up again and again till you find the gratitude in it of learning that lesson.
Dude, life is treachery and amazing blessing all rolled into one.
Yeah.
It just matters which one you're happen to going through. Right? Sometimes you're in the barrel, sometimes you're on vacation and things are amazing, but there's situations and things to be grateful for in both those scenarios,
Absolutely.
right? There's an opportunity to learn in tough times, opportunity to grow, opportunity to meet people you wouldn't have met in that horrible situation. But this guy's surrounded by now a tribe of people that are probably the only people that understand what he's going through.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly,
and so he can heal now. That's a wonderful thing. It sucks that what got him there, but there's something, he's finding something to be grateful about that. That's pretty awesome. And so gratitude is a strategy in this month of gratitude, in this holiday. Like how does this apply to my life? Like how could I use this to put a different lens on of what's good, and then thereby invite more good into my world.
It. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Well, we're grateful for you guys. We accept more of you into our world.
We manifest the blessings.
We are so appreciative and grateful for you guys, and thank you so much, and happy holiday. Happy
holidays.
Have a great time with your families, guys.
All right, until next time.
I'm Haley.
I'm Ryan.
Bye.
Bye.